Hello, Rudy Campos with the Rudy Campos home selling team at eXp Realty and Carly Rosales with the Money Store. And again, we have another interview regarding self-employed borrowers who want to purchase a home. So the question is, how does a self-employed person get pre-approved for a mortgage? So Carly, thank you again for giving us the opportunity to discuss a very important subject.
Yes, a self-employed borrower can get qualified for a mortgage just like any other individual. Some people feel that they cannot qualify because of their tax returns, but again, all self-employed borrowers, no matter what, based on documentation or alternative documentation, we can take a look at it and see how you can qualify based off your personal and business tax returns. We'll go ahead and review that for you.
Okay. So what is considered to be self-employed?
To be self-employed is any borrower or borrowers who have 25% ownership or more in a business or entity. So we always take a look at, for instance, a K1 to see what percentage. Most of the time people think, oh, I own 100% of the business, I'm self-employed. And even if you own a small portion or a quarter, 25%, you are also considered self-employed, even if you don't run the day-to-day business. But if you have that percentage of 25% or more, you are considered a self-employed borrower.
So if you own a corporation, an LLC, and you have a 1/4% or more ownership, you're considered self-employed, so you will qualify in those terms.
Correct. And then we will go ahead and guide you in regards to what documentation would be needed or not based on your percentage of ownership.
Right. And what are the standard requirements, Carly, for a self-employed borrower?
So self-employed borrower, the standard, it would be the most recent 2 years personal and business tax return. So if you have numerous business or just one business or your own one sole proprietor, Schedule C, we would like to see 2 years. But we have to always keep in mind, it doesn't stop at just the 2 years. There's alternative ways to get qualified if you don't have a full 2 years of filed tax returns that you can present to us as a mortgage company.
Okay, great. And how long does someone need to be self-employed as a business owner?
Again, the standard is usually 2 years, but there's times you have to keep in mind, again, always call us to find out what the possibilities might be. Because if, for instance, you have only filed 1 full year of taxes, and then the prior 10 years you were working at a corporation doing the same line of work, but you decided to go off on your own, that will be considered. As long as we can see the line of work and the business is continuing, and then you're within maybe the month 13 to 24 of your new business and you're continuing to grow, that is something we will still consider because you have the history in that line of work.
Okay, so as long as they're doing the same line of work, and now they have their own business in that same line of work, they will still qualify and be considered as having been in that business at least 2 years
Correct.
or more.
Correct.
Okay, great. And what are some of the myths that people who are self-employed, what are some of the myths that are out there for people to consider buying a home?
A lot of myths that I hear are, oh, I don't put anything, I don't report anything on my taxes, I'm not going to qualify, right? That's not always the case because we do have alternative types of ways to qualify for a self-employed borrower. Or there might be the opposite, that some people may say, okay, well, I make this much money, but they may only report after expenses a certain amount of money, right? So they may or may not qualify in a traditional route, but we need to go maybe an alternative route for those type of self-employed borrowers. So again, it just depends on your whole paper, right? What's on tax returns, what's on paper, what it looks like, what you're writing off, what is gross income, what are expenses, with depreciation you may or may not go ahead and input on the taxes. So that's something we can all take a look at and be able to see what you can qualify. But again, it's one thing or another. We might hear, I have no problem qualifying, or there's no way I can qualify. You won't know until you ask and sit down with somebody.
Right. And keep in mind that when you also purchase a property, you're also going to be paying interest on that loan, and you're also paying property taxes and those two things you can deduct from your taxes. So there's a give and take, whether you are, deducting a lot of your income, but you're also going to get benefits from buying a property as well. And what are some of those alternative methods, Carly, that a borrower can qualify to purchase a home?
So we have various alternatives. For instance, again, going over the 1 or 2 years of self-employment, 5, 10, whatever it might be. For some circumstances, if you've been in business for 5 years or more, we can use just your most recent 1-year taxes to qualify. So that's very common in the Fannie Mae or conventional loans. Again, if you've been in business for 5 years or more and want to just use your most recent 1 year of good tax returns, then that's an option for you, and very common that we do. Another option is if, for instance, maybe not everything is reported on the taxes and or there's a lot of expenses, we can do what's called a bank statement program, where we will go ahead and take a look at your personal checking account or your business account statements as well to see what type of deposits are made. Because a lot of times I hear again with business owners that, well, I make a lot of money, but I just don't report it. And you can clearly see on their business tax returns, they have the deposits coming in, but again, they may have expenses going out as well, but they can pay all the bills just fine. So that's something we'll go ahead and review as well, as taking a look at personal or business taxes. And then there's also taking a look at maybe a profit and loss statement from your accountant. And then also a lot is going to be taken into consideration with a CPA. They will always they're going to need to provide an expense letter or showing that you've had business obviously as well for a certain amount of time.
The profit and loss statement from a CPA?
Correct.
Okay, great. And so what would you tell a self-employed borrower to keep in mind?
Always sit down with a lender as soon as possible. A lot of the times people again say, I don't qualify or I have no problem qualifying. It could be the complete opposite. And a lot of the times we can help guide you in what we look at and what's important for us to help you qualify for a higher amount. And also business expenses. You have a car payment that you use on a regular basis. Those debts can be omitted if your business is paying for that car payment on a monthly basis out of business bank statements. Sometimes people don't realize that and have it coming out of their personal, but we know that the business is paying for it ultimately, right? So little things like that, we can help guide you to help your overall qualifying, and or take a look at, okay, if we have a certain amount of income 1 year and we want to get to a certain amount the following year, this is the amount we need in regards to the bottom line income for the following year, then we maybe limit all the expenses and not have so many expenses and try to work it that way as well.
So the recommendation is to don't assume that you don't qualify or that you do qualify without actually sitting down with a lender like Carly, so that they can take a look at the entire picture of your situation and then determine whether you actually can qualify or if you can't qualify, or if they need to find alternative methods, as Carly just mentioned. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because I get a lot of this, these people who don't report their income, or they basically just make cash, they collect cash.
Mm-hmm.
How does someone like that qualify as self-employed?
You have to keep in mind cash is hard because there's no way we can track it, right? So you will need to do one of two things. Either obviously report all the cash received on the taxes or deposit that cash in your business bank statement on a regular basis, so then we can see those deposits and that gross income coming in. So that's something that we will want to be able to see on a regular basis, so that can be accounted for as future income.
So again, for those of you that like to collect cash or get paid with cash, it's important that you keep track of your monthly income. Make deposits so there's a paper trail on that income that you're making, and also get together with Carly so you can figure a way to get you pre-approved and pre-qualified so that you can purchase a property. So this is all great information for those of you who are self-employed and are thinking of buying or thought maybe you couldn't get a loan because you're self-employed or you're getting paid cash and you don't have the income or the paper trail to be able to qualify. So the best thing to do is to set an appointment with Carly and then find out what she can do with you and the information that you provide for her. There's a good chance that you can qualify for a loan, even though you're self-employed, even though you might be collecting cash and not reporting that. There's always ways to find alternative financing methods too. So the only way to find out whether you can or you cannot buy because you're self-employed is to set an appointment with Carly so she can then go over all the information that she's gathered and tell you yes you can or we have to do something different. So again, if you're looking to buy a home and want to get a loan, whether you're self-employed or not, call Carly Rosales. She does FHA, VA financing, conventional loans, as well as many other products that she has available. Okay? If you're thinking of buying a home, selling a property, call me, Rudy Campos, eXp Realty. Number is 805-479-2992. 43 years in the business. So if you want someone that knows what they're doing and can get the job done, call me. Carly, the best number for them to reach you
is my cell phone at 805-302-8224.
Great. Thank you again, Carly, and we hope to hear from you soon. Give us a call. Don't forget to click like and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rudy Campos Realtor. Share this information with your friends and family, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.